Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you kind of my Sunday night hair ritual, and it involves not just hair. I do a little bit of skincare masking, but most of it is related to hair. Sunday is kind of my reset night before my new work week starts, and so I like to do my masking on Sunday nights. And I don't wash my hair a lot during the week, so I usually try to wash it twice a week max, so that doesn't give me a lot of opportunities to mask, so I do it on Sunday. And I'm going to show you the steps I go through and what products I use and how I use them. So I'm going to show you the products I use on my Sunday night routine, how I apply them, and yeah, let's get into it. So I use a scalp spray first, and that is basically a scalp exfoliant. I have a really itchy scalp, and for me it's a lot of skin buildup because I don't wash my hair that often. Some of you may have more hydration and dry scalp issues. I have moisturizing scalp lotions, and I didn't really find those to help. I mean, they feel nice, but that didn't really deal with my itchiness and flakiness. So I just want to show you an example of the hydrating scalp stuff that I've used before. This is from Cantu. This is tea tree and jojoba hair and scalp oil. So I haven't tried this a whole lot, but you do have to apply a lot all over the scalp, and I just felt like it didn't seem to make too much of a difference for my issues. It says it helps protect against breakage, conditions the scalp to encourage growth. I don't really have a growth issue, it's just more of really scalp issues that I wanted to deal with. So what I've been using, and I've shown how to use this in another video, but I kind of want to show you my whole routine besides just the scalp part. This is the Biologique Recherche Lotion P50 Capillaire, which is basically for the scalp. And I start with dry hair. I put this on before I shower, but I do leave it on for a good half an hour. You could definitely spray this on, leave it in, and let it go to work for several hours before you wash it out. So I essentially am going to section off my hair and spray this, work it in, and then brush it out. So I'm just going to section off like so. And this is especially important because you're really targeting the scalp with this product, and if you don't really spray it near the scalp, it's not going to get there. So I do a good shake, and I spray it wherever my scalp is, very close to it, and then I rub it in with my fingers just to disperse the product as best as I can. I've noticed that I've had to use quite a bit of product because it's a spray. It doesn't really spread that easily. I'm rubbing it in to spread it around my scalp in this section as best as I can, but because of the thickness of my hair, I have a lot of dense hair. You spray it and it doesn't really get to the scalp, so it's really important to rub it in and have it do its thing, because really this is an acid exfoliator for your scalp, which makes sense. I use one for my face. This helps with the itchies. So after that, you're just gonna comb it through. You don't have to comb it through all the way down because it's not really going to reach past the halfway point. And if you have really tangly hair like me, my hair is really hard to comb through when it's dry. So I just kind of take a wide tooth comb through the areas that you applied the product, just to try to disperse it a little bit more. They say it's good for it to kind of go down the hair I have so much though, I can't really, I'd have to spray it really on the lower parts of my hair to get it all the way down. But if you had short hair, I mean, it probably wouldn't be too difficult to get it really throughout the lengths of your hair, but just not really practical for me and what I want to do, which is treat the scalp. So I'm just going to repeat this process throughout. Alright, so I just finished applying the P50 on my scalp all over. I tend to concentrate on the areas, while I do like section off my hair, I try to concentrate applying this to the areas where itchiness, flakiness is the most noticeable. And for me, I'm usually itchy on the bottom part of my head. This whole bottom section is always very itchy for me. I also get some itch along the hairline and on top of my head. I get itchy up here. So those are kind of the areas that I focus on. Now if you truly get itchy all over your head, of course you want to literally spray your scalp, but I think you can go through this product really quickly. So if you kind of want to manage how much you're using, I would concentrate on the areas of most itchiness. And just to give you sort of a sense of what this product dries down to, if you were to leave it in your hair for like hours, it actually can dry up fairly stiff. Almost like a dry shampoo can sometimes dry down a little bit hard if you don't kind of work it in. While it does kind of dry down stiff and kind of absorbs oil, you can certainly work with it and make it soft again. So it is kind of nice because it has kind of that oil absorbing dry shampoo effect, but that's not really the point of the product. It's most definitely a scalp exfoliating product. I use it once a week. I think they recommend you use it more often than that, like twice a week or something. And if you have seriously very itchy hair where you need treatment that much, I haven't been diagnosed with any scalp issues. I'm just kind of treating my hair. But if you do have like serious scalp issues, that you have, you know, crazy rash that's crazy itchy, like very itchy, I mean, you're gonna want to go to a doctor for that and get special treatment, especially if it's really not going away and it's something that you haven't had before. Definitely want to get that checked out. So my next part of the routine, I actually get my hair wet, and instead of going into the shower, I just rub my hair with a spray bottle because I don't want to rinse out my scalp treatment quite yet. But the reason I kind of do this part now is because I'm leaving in a mask that's actually a pre-shampoo mask. So you leave it in and let it work before you shampoo, and it's supposed to help with breakage. So what I'm talking about is the Kingsley Elasticizer. This has been around for a while. It's a lot of people's favorites. It comes in different sizes, and it's pretty pricey in my opinion, but it does go on sale sometimes. Different retailers online have it. I got this at Derm Store. There's 20% off, but I believe Skin Store sells a larger one. But essentially it's a very creamy white mask, and you put it on damp hair, leave it in, and put it up like in a shower cap, and leave it in for as long as you can, and then rinse it out, shampoo, and then you're good to go. So it's an elasticizer, it's supposed to help with breakage. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my hair with just plain water, and then I'm gonna apply the mask. So I'm gonna be careful not to like spray my roots because I wanna make sure that scalp spray is still working. Now you don't have to get your hair soaking wet. If I wanted my hair to get soaking wet, this would take a long time. But you do want it damp. And I find this method to be just fine for this product. If you really want to get, you know, really each strand perfectly wet, you would section off your hair and spray it, which is totally fine. Some of you, if you're not doing a scalp treatment, just go ahead and wet your hair in the shower. Dry it off a little bit, make sure it's damp, and then apply this mask. I have applied it dry, like my hair not wet, and I think it absorbs into your hair way too much, and you end up using a lot too much product if your hair is completely dry. So I think wetting it makes more sense. It's gonna help the product spread more. But I have a lot of hair. You're probably thinking, why is she spraying so much? Because it takes a lot of water for my hair to get wet. Like completely wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sectioning off my hair, and I might have to wet some sections that are still too dry. But I just like to do a rough wetting of my hair. So if you don't have a lot of hair, you probably can get away with not sectioning off your hair and, you know, targeting pretty much most of your hair with this. You could probably apply this if you have short hair like really easily without having to section it off. But so that's how much I'm using. You could probably get away with less depending on your hair type. But I'm just going through the lengths of my hair with this product, kind of raking it through as best as I can. My hair is not completely able to be detangled without it being completely wet and a lot of product in it, but I'll try to comb through this mess as much as I can just so I can really distribute the product. You can see my hair is kind of difficult to work through. I mean, this is just me not washing my hair. You know, my hair gets tangled very easily. Just brushing, my hair brushing across my back, like just my hair swinging from side to side, it gets tangled. Especially underneath here. But a little tugging, it does come out. There we go. And this just helps distribute the mask. I think this is especially important if you have a hair type like mine that is just thick. Your hair just wants to hold on to that product in one spot. Alright, so I'm just going to continue this process throughout my hair, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm working on my last section here. Just want to make a quick note about like why I section off and I comb through with this product. It's totally your call if you want to do that. It's definitely easier if you just kind of roughly wet your hair and then just spread on the product without sectioning off. It saves a lot of time, but I think there's a good argument for sectioning off because when it comes to like really thick or long hair, or even just a normal texture hair, there's a tendency for like thicker products, especially masks like this, to just want to stay in one place. And when you're rinsing it out, like there may be some caught up right in here that if you're not paying special attention to when you rinse out, it's gonna stay there and a lot of it's gonna be left behind after you wash your hair and you think you rinsed it all out. And then you'll notice like, oh, this part's really greasy, and you'll start getting some product build up in those areas that you didn't really distribute the product well, and it's, you know, thicker in that area so it just doesn't completely rinse out. So if you kind of want to avoid that product buildup and some of those greasy spots, I think it's good to section off your hair and, use a comb to distribute the product. Especially if you're doing styles that, you know, require a blowout, or, you know, you're showing off some of those areas. You know, maybe you're doing, I don't know, something that maybe doing a half up, half down kind of a deal. And, you know, you don't want your roots or certain areas to be like really greasy looking and shiny just because you didn't rinse out your hair that well. So those are just issues that I've come across when I like put too much conditioner or mask and I overdo it, and it ends up going against my intentions of trying to protect my hair. And it's like, you know, you want your hair to look healthy and you have a greasy mess in certain spots of your head. It doesn't look so great. So now that I've applied my Kingsley Elasticizer, I'm going to put it up in a plastic cap. This actually came with the mask. Just so you guys know, the Elasticizer comes in different formulas. If you have different hair type than mine, you might want to try one of those. There's actually a thicker one, believe it or not. And one, I believe, that's not as thick. So something to consider. Alright, so this is what I'm going to hang out in for about 30 minutes. You can go as long as you want. You can spend the whole afternoon like this. I have some other masks to get to, and I don't have all night. I typically, unfortunately, don't get to this routine until late Sunday night, usually 9 or 10. If it's later than that, then I'll usually skip some of these steps. But yeah, so I'm gonna hang out on this for a while, but first, while I'm waiting, I'm gonna work on my skin. So I have some nightly routines that I like to do with my skin. That's either with a mask that I put on or some facial toning, or both. So tonight I'm doing both, just because I'm continuing my first initial uses of the NuFace Mini. So I've been using it not even a month yet, and I need to use it most nights. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then later, after my shower, I'm going to apply my mask products. So I'm going to wash my face, because you're supposed to start with clean skin. And I've had a whole day of skincare on, so I'm going to rinse my face first. Alright, so I used my like alternative cleanser that I've been using in the mornings. This is like either a first cleanse, if that's all you're using, or a second cleanse. It's a makeup remover, but I use it, I guess, as a second cleanser. This is the Kate Somerville Goat Milk Hydrating Cleanser. That's what I just used. So I have no skincare left on my face or my neck. So I'm going to show you some advanced techniques that I started implementing. I first began with the beginner techniques of like the swiping motion across my face and neck, and now I'm going to show you like the press and hold. One of you out there commented after watching my video on how to use this that first of all, how I can prolong the use of the gel, the priming gel, because I was noticing like once I put it on, it dried out pretty quickly. So they said, yeah, you need to apply it in sections, but also you can refresh the gel with a spray of water. So whenever it dries out, I can just spray it and it reactivates it, and I don't have to keep reapplying gel. But also the viewer commented that I should try the press and hold technique because that will give me better results. And then I asked, like, how do you do it? How long do you hold? And they said like 5 to 10, I think it was like 5 seconds. And they told me to watch the video, and that the video says to do the press and hold for 5 to 10 seconds each spot. So I'm going to use the medium setting, and we're going to start on my neck. Actually, I'm going to apply a little bit of water so it doesn't dry out. So you hold this for 5 seconds until the beep, and then hold it another 5 seconds. And you do this 1, 2, 3 times on this part of the neck. Move up, 1, 2, 3, and then do it under the chin. So we go ahead and move on. And this is essentially what the press and hold technique is. It's really easy. You just press and hold for 10 seconds and then move on to the next spot. And it's in groups of 3s. I don't know what this red spot is, but I noticed it tonight. So that's, you just kind of hold it, and I guess it's just more of a targeted treatment in one area rather than doing like the slow moving swooping action. And I apologize if I'm holding it more than 10 seconds because I can't keep track, but this is essentially what you do. And I have another video that shows kind of my progress and what kind of the before and after looks like. I notice a slight difference, not a whole lot, but I haven't been using the advanced techniques the whole time that I've been using this. So you notice I have sensitive skin on my neck. Particularly, I have thinner skin there like most of you, and you'll see I have some red spots going, but it does go away. So this is the under the chin hold, the jowl, which is my main reason why I'm using this. I got some saggy jowls in my early 30s, so I want to do something about it. Probably losing weight would help, but I didn't have this issue before, I'll tell you that. I'm sure you can continue like holding this even longer than 10 seconds in your areas. I'm gonna go back down to the other side. They actually tell you to kind of go neck, cheek, forehead. I think in this sort of fashion. I don't know that it really matters though. But this is essentially what you do every night. I think it takes me longer than 5 minutes. Sure, like I definitely, the machine turns off and then I have to turn it back on in the middle of my treatment every time. So I think the 5 minutes is like, if you're really on top of your beeps and you move really quickly. But for me, like in between each section I'm applying gel, that takes up time. I lose track of the beeps. But if you're on your game, maybe you could finish in 5 minutes, but I say give yourself a good 10. And the important part is to wash your face beforehand. And for some of us, washing our face takes a couple steps, so you're adding on time to your 10 minutes. What I like to do if I exercise during the day or whatever and I shower afterwards and I wash my face, I find that's a good time after that to use this rather than the evening when I'm tired and not wanting to add to my nighttime routine. So I would just fit it in like whenever, to be honest. Sorry, the shadows kind of hiding what's going on here, but this is the press and hold. Even with gel applied, I have to reactivate it. It's starting to tingle. I get tingles, especially in my neck. It's just more sensitive. But you just want to reactivate it if it really stings with water. Because the gel is pretty thick in my opinion. I don't want to apply tons of it just to not hurt. But if it's really stinging a lot, I would make sure you spray it. See, it went off already. It's been 5 minutes. I've only done the neck, but I've done a bit of talking. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the cheek portion because this section's a little bit different than the beginner's technique. It's similar to the neck for the most part, but the cheek part is different. I'm gonna turn it on medium setting again. We're gonna go kind of vertical, 1, 2, 3 on the lower part of my jaw, 10 seconds each time. Some people find this like really relaxing, like having a Sunday night ritual, and I totally get it, and I've been sticking to it pretty well during this quarantine because I don't have a lot of evening plans Sunday night like I normally kind of randomly would during the past. I used to catch movies Sunday nights, and now not really doing that. A lot of home movie watching, but not in the theaters. Are not open yet, and where I live, the date of that movie theaters reopening has been further delayed. So this is the cheek pop part. You're gonna hold it right under your cheek in 2 sections. And this doesn't hurt or sting me at all. And this is all you do. You just do 2 sections on your cheek area. I think I've already held it for 10 seconds, but alright, so yeah, you just do here and then here, and that's it. You don't go up here. I'm sure you could, but I don't think that's part of the certified technique. If you notice you have like a lot of gel in between each section, I wipe it off. So I'm gonna do the forehead. The forehead has the least amount of area, so you don't need a whole lot of gel. You're also limited on what you can do with this, in my opinion, on the forehead area. I have a pretty large forehead. I have a lot of space, but still, I think you're a little bit limited on the techniques. But you're still holding for 10 seconds, and then you move on. And they suggest 3 holds, 3 to 4 holds for this area, I believe. And then kind of pivot the device because it's harder to fit it vertically in this area. And that's really it. I'm gonna repeat it on this side up here. And that's what I do kind of while my hair is marinating with that mask on. So I will see you in a bit. Alright guys, while you're waiting for your hair to marinate, you could try some other like relaxing, cooling techniques on your sort of skincare Sunday, skincare recovery day, self-recovery day, whatever you want to call it, your relaxing time. If you can get some sort of cooling sticks or globes or something like this, a jade roller would work. Stick it in the fridge first. Those can be pretty inexpensive. These are not inexpensive, but this is better than a jade roller in my opinion. It's a little bit fancy though. These are such a treat, especially when it's warm out. If you have puffy eyes, tired eyes, or your face just needs like a good cool down, if you have redness in your skin, this is gonna help. Just sort of relax things. This is the Cryo Sticks from Biologique Recherche. This is from Cryology. And oh my gosh, you can watch my video and some techniques on how to use this, but I think while you're working on your hair, continue working on my face. After doing the NuFace toning, I recommend using these however you wish. There's no really wrong way to do it. This feels so good. It's so crazy how a little temperature change can make all the difference. I think these are really like not so much for your skin, like they help, but they're more of like a mental like relaxant for me. Relaxing. They're a mental relaxing tool as much as a skincare tool. You can get some good lymphatic drainage from this and depuffing, and you can do like your facial massage, facial exercise, however you want to call it. This is mostly made for like its cooling effect, but I know the spas kind of do a little bit of massage with them too. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing with massage. I'm just doing whatever feels good. But wherever you have sort of deep lines, if you have headaches, this might help you a little bit. So that's what I suggest to do while you're killing time. You can paint your nails while your hair is in a mask. Do the cryo sticks, do it all. Pamper yourself up, make yourself some tea, or if you're not doing caffeine like me, I just pour myself some cold water. You could do some spa water, put some fruit in there, lemon, whatever you need to sort of kind of chill out, relax, hydrate. For me, it's really important to stay hydrated this summer, especially if you have a little adult beverage or two. You have to compensate with even more water, especially if you're sweating a lot, you need extra water. I'm not great about keeping up on my hydration, so I try to focus on drinking water when I can. It's also nice. Anyways, just a couple extra tips from me on your Sunday relaxing time. Alright, it's been well over 30 minutes. I'm gonna take off my shower cap and I'm gonna pop into the shower, shampoo, and then instead of putting my mask on in the shower, I'm going to show you how I put on my other masks and show you the process. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, it's been well over 30 minutes. I'm gonna take off my shower cap and I'm gonna pop into the shower, shampoo, and then instead of putting my mask on in the shower, I'm going to show you how I put on my other masks and show you the process. Alright, I'll be back. So just out of the shower, just shampooed. I used 2 different shampoos. I mixed them together and kind of in my hand. I've been using the Virtue Recovery shampoo. I just bought the large pump size of this, and then I mixed it with the Pravana Perfect Blonde shampoo, and this is a very dark purple shampoo. And I use both of those because I have highlights in my hair. I have blonde and I don't want it to get too yellow. I do have some yellow in my hair, but I also have some icy blonder, cooler blonde parts that I'm trying not to turn yellow. So I constantly have to use a purple shampoo. So now I'm gonna apply my masks, and the first one I'm going to apply is the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioner. And this has no silicones, parabens, sulfates. And I use this as kind of my base mask. I usually use a couple masks at a time. And this is very slippery, like a thick moisturizer. And I just run it through my hair. And it's kind of a fresh scent. I don't think it smells particularly great, but I don't think it's offensive either. It's not like a super duper thick dry cream conditioner. It's definitely has some slip, as I said. Is it the thickest conditioner? No, that's why I'm kind of like doing the Philip Kingsley one first and then doing this one. because I feel like it's a little bit more substantial. I've also have a sample of the Kerastase Masque Ultraviolet, and I thought this was going to be a light purple mask, but it's actually a pretty dark one, so I would actually consider getting the full size of this because it's so dark. It's like purple frosting, icing kind of purple, which I was surprised by. You know, I wish they showed the pictures of what these purple products look like, because I was also skeptical about the purple shampoo that I got a sample of, and that's also very purple. So also another option I would consider getting the full size of. So I'm going to use up this mask and mix it with the Briogeo one, just to add another element of toning to my hair. There's a lot of different purple shampoos and conditioners on the market. I would try to get, if you're like a light cool blonde like I'm trying to go for, or way lighter than me and you're all blonde for the most part, I would definitely buy a purple shampoo and conditioner and use it pretty much every time that you're in the shower shampooing or conditioning. It's gonna help tone your hair, believe it or not. You just got to use a good one, because I think if you're gonna have that sort of hair color, you need to do the work to keep it up and do the maintenance required for it. And if you're not willing to put a mask in your hair for once a week for 30 minutes at least, then I wouldn't have that hair color. I know I'm being harsh, but it's important for maintenance of that color. I'm also going to use a mask for my scalp. This is the Kerastase Specifique Masque Apaisant. So I know I talked earlier about a leave-in product for my scalp that was supposed to be hydrating, which I didn't really find that helpful. But this is my second time using this, and I'm gonna try it out. I like the fact that I'm not leaving it in all day on my scalp, but I get the exfoliating plus the hydrating, and this is just a really lightweight gel mask, and I really just concentrated on my roots and scalp, and I don't put it down the length of my hair. But this kind of is supposed to calm things down on my scalp, and I have to keep using it to tell you if it works or if I like it or not, or if I would repurchase it. But just applying it right now, it does feel really refreshing and cooling on my scalp. So I'm gonna leave all these scalps on for a good 30 minutes as well. And for some of you, like a Sunday, an hour on a Sunday is way too much time to dedicate to stuff like this. I totally get it, but if you have, you know, problematic hair, color treated hair that does require some TLC to like make it look nice and keep it healthy looking, I think this is the time that you kind of need to have for your hair to keep it looking nice, unfortunately. So if you like low maintenance hair and you don't want to spend an hour a week conditioning it, I totally get it, but you might want to rethink your hairstyle, your hair color. I know it's harsh, but I think it's true, especially if you have very dry, curly hair and you color treat it. You know that you need to spend this time. You just don't want to. I know I don't always want to, but you know, try your best. If you can't leave it in for 30 minutes, leave it in the shower 5 minutes versus 3. You know, whatever extra minute or 2 that you can do, you're gonna notice a difference. At least I do. I feel like leaving my mask in my hair just leaves a better coating of softness and protection than if I just left it on for a few minutes. That's the difference I noticed. It's just a bit of a stronger barrier between heat or whatever and my actual hair fiber. Alright, so I combed it through. Very important to comb through, distribute the product. So my hair is very wet, and you can either get a thermal cap like I have, or you can just put the plastic shower cap on and, you know, leave your hair in that for 30 minutes. But what I do is I put my hair in the plastic shower cap, and I put this on before the thermal cap because you can't wash this, so I need to make sure I preserve my thermal cap by not getting wet. And I'm gonna go ahead and heat this up in the microwave for 45 seconds like this. Turn it inside out, heat it for another 45 seconds, turn it back right side out, another 45 seconds, and then I put it on my head for a good 30 minutes, 20 minutes, that's fine. Whatever you can do, 15 minutes, great. And then what's gonna happen is I will rinse out, go back in the shower, rinse out, and then follow up with my regular leave-in routine. So I'm gonna go to the microwave and I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm in my kitchen. I am heating up my thermal cap as we speak. So while I'm waiting for that to heat up, I'm gonna put on my face mask and do some multitasking and multi-masking. I'm gonna use the Biologique Recherche Masque VIP 02. That's the microwave. And I'm gonna put this around my eyes, and I use this mask along with the Masque Vivant twice a week, at least once a week, especially I always remember on Sunday because I go through this whole routine. I think it helps to have a good routine attached to your kind of relaxing time, because then you don't forget like the steps. So like when you're waiting for your hair to like soak in the mask, you know, okay, it's time to take care of my face while I'm waiting for that. Like, it's just easier to not forget. Whereas like me during the week when I'm not masking my hair, I forget to put on this mask during the middle of the week. You know, I'm supposed to do it 2 times, and it's hard for me to remember to put it on the second time. But during my routine on Sunday, I never forget. So if you can do another, you know, if you're trying to pamper yourself not just 1 time a week but 2 times a week, or there's certain things you need to do in your routine a couple of times a week, it's good to attach something to it. So like maybe when you during the week you do a pedicure, or you fix up your nails while you're masking your face, or you put your foot in a soaker, like a tub, and like a bowl, and soak your feet because you have tired feet, and well, during that time you can mask your face. You know what I mean? Like something like that. You can light a candle, blah blah blah. Alright, time to put on my other mask. This is the Masque Vivant. This is the clarifying mask, and you can mix this with baking soda for like an added acne clarifying mask effect. It does kind of make it into that bubbly, there's the microwave again, it does make it really bubbly, so it's a good way to like make your own like bubble mask. I don't know if you've ever heard of those or seen those, but the bubble masks are just very airy and foamy on your face, and they're nice, but you can also make your own with this one. I will say adding baking soda makes this mask a lot easier to spread. 'Cause it's a thick one. It's a little hard to move around. You can also mix the one I used around my eye, VIP02, with this one to make it less strong. This is not an attractive way to put on a mask. It's definitely not Instagram worthy. But, I mean, no one's really gonna see me at home. I do not take pictures of myself every time I mask, because that would be a lot. Especially during quarantine, I'm definitely masking a lot more. Alright, there we have it. Masque VIP 02 and Masque Vivant. Alright guys, I got my face mask on. I grabbed my thermal cap out of the microwave. It's nice and steaming hot. And I'm going to put it on my head over the plastic cap. And this essentially works like a hooded dryer. It's definitely not going to retain the heat as well. But it's not going to blast your hair or over dry your hair in any one spot. And you have that plastic cap over it. So that protects your hair from touching this. But basically this is from Hothead's brand. You can get them online. And there's essentially like little beads in here that retain heat when you heat it up in the microwave. And it stays pretty warm for, I'd say, a good 20 minutes. And then after that you kind of notice it losing heat. But I keep it on for as long as comfortable. I'm usually busy doing other stuff and I forget, like, hey, I need to take this off. But yeah, just leave it on. I have my mask on. When this is all done, I just hop into the shower, rinse my mask. You could also do it the proper way. Rinse your mask off first in the sink and then rinse your hair out in the shower. And what I do is I rinse with cooler water. I don't follow up with a conditioner after that, but I do, you know, put in some leave-in products, but I definitely don't use like a traditional conditioner because I don't really need it. But yeah, so I'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, I've left the mask in for quite a long time now. Just so you know, my hair is still very wet. It does feel softer than when I started, for sure. It does feel like, you know, it's still very like slippery. It does feel like a lot of the product has soaked in, but not completely. As I said, my hair is still very wet. But for some of you, depending on your hair type, your hair may have dried quite a bit while waiting. It just kind of depends on how much hair you have, how long it is, how thick it is, how quickly it normally dries. But yeah, some of you may have already noticed your hair is already drying, which is fine. And some of you may feel like, you know, all the product has sunk in. It just depends on how much of your mask you're putting in, what type of mask you're using. It all really depends. You don't have to use the mask that I use. I mean, we all have very different hair, so I'm not expecting that. But especially if you're using a lot of masks like I am, you're gonna feel a lot of product still left in your hair, even after a good soak in. Alright, so I'm gonna wash this all out, wash my face, rinse my hair. Just gonna do a rinse, not gonna put anything else on it in the shower. So I'll be back. Alright guys, I just rinsed off. My hair is still very, very wet. I'm gonna put in a couple leave-ins in my hair. I think it's especially important if you have hair like mine that's curly, wavy, thick, that you put in products that, while your hair is still very, very wet. I think the products for me have worked a lot better since I've made that change. Instead of like kind of drying off my hair first and putting products into like more damp to dry hair, I found that everything just works better if your hair is actually wet first, and then I put it up in a towel to soak up the moisture. And that seems to help a lot with frizz. I still get frizzy hair, no question about that. But I found that it helps with product absorption and just makes things work a lot better. I'm not going to get into the details of everything I'm using to, that I put in my hair, because I have some other videos about that. But if you guys are interested, please ask me questions about what I use. I use a lot of products, just like with everything else. But in general, I like to have like a leave-in conditioner, some sort of oil or treatment for my ends, some sort of defining product. I don't usually love gels because I find that I have to use a ton of gel to really do anything. But I like to have some definition, whether it comes from a mousse or a spray or a cream. I definitely prefer cream products in my hair more than anything else. I have a ton of creams in my collection. I do want to call out a UV protector because we're in the summer. This is from Kerastase. This is the Cream UV Sublime. You put it in your hair when it's wet or dry. They have a spray with UV protection, Kerastase, but because I have been spending more time in the sun, I like to make sure I have something to protect my hair. And it's not really, I don't think, super important for hair that hasn't been colored, but if you have color treated hair, you definitely need a UV protector. If you don't mind your hair lightening up, you don't really need one, but just remember to keep your hair nice and covered. Wear a big hat, especially for my blondes. The sun can do a number on your hair color. So now I'm just going to wrap my hair up in a microfiber towel. I use one from Aquas to make sure my hair is wrapped up in it. You can leave this on for as long as you want. You're really just getting rid of that excess water. It's almost my bedtime, so I'm going to put a towel over my pillow because I don't want to get my pillow all wet. I just use like a small regular towel on my pillow. You could use a microfiber towel on your pillow as well. Next, you can go ahead and follow up with your full skincare routine now that we are done with the shower. You want to put on all your body lotions and all that stuff. I don't want to get into my full routine because this video is already long enough, but I think the whole point of this video is to find some time during the week when you can reset, take care of yourself, however you can, however you want to do it. You don't need to do this many masks on your hair at once. I just find it easier for me if I do it all at once. Otherwise, I forget about it during the week if I don't have a set aside day of the week where I can dedicate a couple hours to doing my routines. I do suggest, though, if you are sort of a person that cannot have a lot of downtime, you don't have much of a choice, you're very, very busy, I would squeeze it in wherever you can. I would put a reminder a day of the week, like, hey, self-care at 9 p.m. And that may mean that you're still making lunch for the next day, or you're paying bills at that hour. But at the beginning of that hour, at least you have that reminder like, hey, before I pack my lunch, I'm gonna put a mask on my hair, or I'm gonna put a mask on my face. Or before I pay these bills, I'm gonna do this, and I can multitask but still take care of my skin. So even though you're not mentally relaxing, your skin, your hair, whatever, will still be taken care of. I mean, that's really the whole point of masks, whether they be for skin or hair, that you use them consistently. For a face mask, some people would argue that you shouldn't be using them so often that your skin can't go on without them, because that usually means that there's something wrong with your routine that you need a mask that much. But there are certain masks, like the ones I showed you in this video, that I think help with your overall complexion, anti-aging, congestion, clarifying the skin. I use products that target those things, but this mask just gives me a weekly boost, and I find it helpful. I think it's a very unique set of masks, so I don't mind spending the money on them, but some would argue that it's too much money, and I totally get that. I mean, I've been showing you pretty expensive products. Don't feel like you have to use any of these. There's a lot of great drugstore masks that I can point you towards that I've used in the past that are lovely. I just tend to buy things on the bougier side for whatever reason. But I think, you know, there's some quality issues with some of the drugstore stuff that I just find to be better and higher end and sort of medium end brands. So anyways, that's sort of my self-care Sunday routine. I hope you learned something. I hope you took something from it. You don't necessarily need to spend an hour or 2 hours or whatever. I just hope that you get inspired to take some time for yourself and relax if possible. So please let me know your routine, what you do during the week to take some time for yourself. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.